For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. California Governor Democrat Gavin Newsom gave a prime-time address last night, blasting President Donald Trump's deportation agenda and his deployment of Marines and the National Guard to confront protesters in Los Angeles.
His agents are arresting dishwashers, gardeners, day laborers, and seamstresses. That's just weakness masquerading as strength. Donald Trump's government isn't protecting our communities. They're traumatizing our communities. If some of us could be snatched off the streets without a warrant, based only on suspicion or skin color, then none of us are safe. Authoritarian regimes begin by targeting people who are least able to defend themselves, but they do not stop there.
In a statement, Newsom said the president was turning the military against American citizens. He accused Trump of waging a war in a quest for power, citing Trump's refusal to deploy troops during the deadly January 6th Capitol attack by his supporters. A court yesterday rejected Newsom's emergency request for an immediate halt on deploying the National Guard and 700 Marines as a legal challenge plays out. Meanwhile, the Trump administration's planning to send thousands of detained immigrants to Guantanamo Bay this week, according to reports from Politico. In LA, protesters marked a fifth day of actions against immigration raids. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has imposed a curfew on a square mile of downtown to stop vandalism and looting that ended at 6 this morning. Arrests were made overnight, the number unknown. Video shows protesters bloodied from police firing projectiles. Protests continue to spread across the country. Texas Governor Greg Abbott deployed the National Guard in San Antonio and said they're on standby in Austin after protests there and in Houston. In New York, thousands took to the streets Tuesday. At least 20 people were arrested. Video shows protesters blocking ICE vehicles from exiting the Federal Plaza. Actions took place at the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., also in Boston, Minneapolis, Atlanta, Chicago, Omaha, Seattle, and here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Activists shut down the federal immigration courthouses in San Francisco and Concord after reports federal agents were arresting migrants complying with immigration laws. Reverend Millie Phillip was among those to show up in protest in Concord.
We're such an escalation right now of violence against our peoples and all people that are being, and it's going to hit all of us. It's hitting the people who are the most vulnerable right now, and we all need to wake up and be out here and defending our neighbors and defending the people we work with and worship with and spend our lives with, because we're all at risk now.
The Scoop is reporting the president's directing the Department of Justice to investigate protests funding the LA uprising. Trump Tuesday defended his deployment of nearly 5,000 troops, including the National Guard and Marines, to Los Angeles.
Right now, Los Angeles would be burning, just like it was burning a number of months ago with all the houses that were lost. Los Angeles right now would be on fire, and we have it in great shape. But these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid troublemakers. They get money.
Speaking to troops in Fort Bragg, he called LA a trash heap and promised to liberate it. In Gaza, 31 Palestinians seeking food aid were shot and killed, according to Al Jazeera, more than 100 injured. The media outlet is reporting 127 Palestinians have been killed seeking food aid from the U.S. Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation since it began in the last 2 weeks. This as more nations have sanctioned two of Israel's cabinet ministers, Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich. Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and Norway have joined the UK in freezing their assets and banning their travel to their countries. Here's Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese.
Concerns about the expansion of settlements in West Bank based upon our concerns about violence in the area being promoted, including by the actions and rhetoric of these ministers.
U.S. Treasury Department imposed sanctions on a major Palestinian legal group for prisoners and detainees, along with 5 other charitable groups across the Middle East, Africa, and Europe, accusing them of supporting Hamas. Silicon Valley progressive Democrat Ro Khanna presented a progressive deficit reduction plan on the House floor Tuesday, an alternative to the GOP budget bill that slashes $800 billion from Medicaid, forcing health care loss to some 11 11 million Americans. It would also add $2.4 trillion to the national debt, according to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. Khanna says his budget would reduce the deficit by $12 trillion by imposing taxes on billionaires, cutting oil and gas subsidies, and reducing the Pentagon budget, while investing in social safety net programs and essential programs like childcare, universal health care, affordable housing, free college, student debt cancellation, advanced manufacturing, and good-paying jobs. Southern Baptists have overwhelmingly endorsed a ban on gay marriage. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced all USAID overseas positions will be eliminated by September 30th. I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.